diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome to Millennium News Hour. I am Tanzeeba Naurin. In today's bulletin, we will present top and trending news from across the nation and the world. Let's begin with the headlines of the day. Michael Cohen testifies against the former President Donald Trump. Ex-Trump lawyer Jenna Ellis pleads guilty in Georgia election interference case. Eight kids abducted from Arkansas found safe in California parking lot, mom arrested. US pilot accused of trying to turn off plane's engines mid-flight. Obama warns some of Israel's actions in Gaza may backfire. Iran actively facilitating attacks on US bases. Freed Israeli says beaten by abductors, then well treated in Gaza. Russian strikes kill 6 civilians in Syria. Armed attacks in Mexico leave 24 dead. China's Wang Yi to pay rare visit to US as two countries try to repair ties. France's Macron says releasing hostages the first objective of Gaza campaign. Putin laughs off body double rumors. And Riyadh turn in vain as Bangladesh lose by 149 runs against Proteas. You were listening to headlines, now news in detail. Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's former lawyer, delivered highly anticipated testimony in the former president's civil fraud trial. Cohen was initially expected to take the stand last week, but had to delay his appearance due to a medical issue. Trump was also in court Tuesday to face down his former fixer. Speaking to reporters ahead of the trial, Trump ripped Cohen as a proven liar. Before heading into the courthouse, Cohen said that his appearance is about accountability, plain and simple. Cohen testified that Trump's 3 oldest children, Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, and Eric Trump, assisted with his financial statements by giving information about projects they were involved with. All 3 were executives at the Trump Organization at the time. Ivanka Trump resigned from the company when she went to work in the White House. Eric Trump, who was seated in the front row of the gallery and had attended much of the trial, repeatedly shook his head in disgust during Cohen's testimony about him and his siblings. Former Trump lawyer Jenna Ellis pleaded guilty Tuesday morning in the Georgia election interference case, becoming the fourth co-defendant to accept a plea deal instead of going to trial. Ellis pleaded guilty in court to aiding and abetting false statements and writings. The conditions of the plea agreement include the requirements that she serve 5 years of probation, pay $5,000 of restitution to the Georgia Secretary of State within 30 days, and testify at hearings or trials in the case. Ellis is also required to complete 100 hours of community service and write an apology letter to the citizens of the state of Georgia. Ellis also agreed to provide any requested documents or evidence, not post about the case on social media, and not have any communication with any witnesses or the media until the case has been closed. Ellis was Donald Trump's senior legal advisor from early 2019 until shortly after he left office in January 2021, and was part of the legal team that advised him as he sought to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. 8 children who were abducted from Arkansas were found in the parking lot of a restaurant in California over the weekend, according to police, who said they arrested the children's mother. Trista Fullerton is accused of kidnapping her children from their foster homes after she lost her custodial rights, the Anderson Police Department in California said in a news release. Fullerton of Rogers, Arkansas, remains behind bars at the Shasta County Jail in Redding, California. It's not clear if she has an attorney who can speak on her behalf. Anderson police were called to the parking lot around 12:30 a.m. Saturday after a person saw a woman displaying bizarre behavior. A welfare check requested for her and the 6 children with her. The family was found to be associated with a Dodge pickup truck with an Arkansas license plate, the news release states. Officers learned that Fullerton had a felony warrant for her arrest in Arkansas for the abduction of 8 children. She was taken into custody, and through an interview, police learned that the other 2 children were at a home in the area of Cottonwood, California. The Shasta County Sheriff's Office helped retrieve the 2 children from the home. All 8 children were placed in the care of the Shasta County Children and Family Services and will be reunited with their guardians in Arkansas, authorities said. It's not clear when they were allegedly abducted. An off-duty pilot in the United States has been charged with 83 counts of attempted murder after allegedly trying to turn off a commercial plane's engines in mid-flight. The pilot, who was occupying the cockpit jump seat, attempted to disable the aircraft's engines during a Horizon Airlines flight from Everett, Washington to San Francisco, California, before he was subdued by the flight crew, officials said on Monday. Joseph David Emerson was arrested after the plane landed safely in Portland, Oregon on Sunday, according to the local prosecutor's office. He faces 83 counts of attempted murder, 83 counts of recklessly endangering another person, and 1 count of endangering an aircraft. The FBI in Portland said there was no continuing threat related to this incident. The Federal Aviation Administration told U.S. Airlines in a notice that a validated jump seat passenger had sought to disable the engines of the twin-jet Embraer 175 by trying to activate the engine fire suppression system. One of the plane's pilots told an air traffic controller that the crew had got the guy that tried to shut the engines down out of the cockpit, and he doesn't sound like he is causing issues in the back right now, according to an audio recording posted on liveatc.net. I think he is subdued. Seattle-based Alaska Airlines, which owns Horizon, on Monday confirmed that one of its pilots had been involved in the incident, but said the captain and co-pilot quickly responded. Engine power was not lost and the crew secured the aircraft without incident. Some of Israel's actions in its war against Hamas, like cutting off food and water for Gaza, could harden Palestinian attitudes for generations and weaken international support for Israel, former US President Barack Obama said on Monday. In rare comments on an active foreign policy crisis, Obama said any Israeli military strategy that ignores the human cost of the war could ultimately backfire. The Israeli government's decision to cut off food, water and electricity to a captive civilian population in Gaza threatens not only to worsen a growing humanitarian crisis, it could further harden Palestinian attitudes for generations. It ought global support for Israel play into the hands of Israel's enemies and undermine long-term efforts to achieve peace and stability in the region, Obama said. Israel has heavily bombarded Gaza with airstrikes since Hamas' October 7 assault on Israel left over 1,400 people dead. Israel's airstrikes have killed more than 5,000 Palestinians, Gaza officials say. Obama condemned Hamas' attack and reiterated his support for Israel's right to defend itself, while cautioning about risks to civilians in such wars. It was not clear whether Obama had coordinated his statement with US President Joe Biden, who served as his vice president for 8 years. The White House on Monday said Iran was in some cases actively facilitating rocket and drone attacks by Iranian-backed proxy groups on US military bases in Iraq and Syria, and President Biden has directed the Department of Defense to brace for more and respond appropriately. White House spokesman John Kirby said there had been an uptick in such attacks over the last week, and especially over the last few days, but the US would not allow threats to its interests in the region to go unchallenged. He said the United States believed these groups were supported by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard and the Iranian government, which was also continuing to support the Hamas and Hezbollah groups. We know that Iran is closely monitoring these events and in some cases actively facilitating these attacks and spurring on others who may want to exploit the conflict for their own good or for that of Iran, he said. There has been an increase in attacks on US forces since the conflict in Israel intensified on October 7 when members from Hamas attacked southern Israel. We will be back after a short break. Till then, stay with us. This world continuously revolving around various events. Every minute, every second, something is happening somewhere around the globe, and you want to get connected to that event or to that specific moment. Here we come, Millennium News Hour, to get you connected with top USA and international trending news, which includes local news, political news, world news, business news, health and science related news, entertainment news, sports news, and so on. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia, available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network, and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with Millennium News Hour to get the world news on your fist. Welcome back to Millennium News Hour. Now it's time for global updates. An Israeli 85-year-old freed by Palestinian militant group Hamas said Tuesday she was beaten during her abduction, then treated well during more than 2 weeks held captive in Gaza. The guys beat me on the way. They didn't break my ribs but hurt me there very much, Yocheved Lifshitz said a day after her release. Her husband, also in his 80s, is among more than 200 hostages still being held in Gaza. They treated us gently and provided all our needs, she said, when asked why she reached out to shake the hand of a militant the moment she was freed. Lifshitz described her captives as very friendly and very courteous people who had organized well in advance for taking hostages. They seemed ready for this. They prepared for a long time. They had everything that men and women needed, including shampoo, she told journalists. We ate the same food they did, pitas with cream cheese, melted cheese, cucumbers. That was a meal for an entire day, said Lifshitz. The octogenarian was released alongside fellow Near Oz resident Nurit Cooper 3 days after an American woman and her daughter were freed. 6 people, including 2 children, were killed in Russian strikes on a displacement camp in Syria's northwest, the country's last main rebel bastion, a war monitor said. Tensions have soared in northwest Syria since a drone attack on a military academy graduation ceremony in Homs earlier this month killed dozens of people. 6 civilians, including a woman and 2 of her children, were killed and 8 others injured after Russian warplanes carried out 2 airstrikes on a camp for displaced people in Idlib province, said the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. 3 separate armed attacks in Mexico on Monday left at least 24 people dead, including a dozen police officers. Authorities said about the latest violence to hit regions plagued by drug trafficking. In the deadliest incident, unidentified attackers targeted a security patrol in Guerrero State's municipality of Coyuca de Benitez, prosecutor Alejandro Hernandez said. At least 13 people were killed and 2 others wounded in that attack, the state prosecutor's office said in a statement, with Hernandez earlier having confirmed that at least 11 of those killed were members of the municipal police force. A senior state security official was traveling in the convoy when it was attacked, authorities said, without confirming media reports that he was murdered along with police bodyguards. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi will travel to the United States later this week as part of an ongoing effort to repair the 2 countries' strained ties amid growing geopolitical crisis. Wang will visit Washington from October 26 to 28 and meet U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and President Joe Biden's National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, officials said, after Blinken and other top officials traveled to Beijing in June. The U.S. is keen to ensure disagreements between Washington and Beijing do not veer into conflict and that they can work together on issues of mutual concern. Other U.S. politicians have traveled to China since Blinken's visit, with California Governor Gavin Newsom currently in the country to discuss climate change. We continue to believe that direct face-to-face diplomacy is the best way to raise challenging issues, address misperception and miscommunication, and explore working with the Chinese where our interests intersect. One official who briefed reporters on condition of anonymity told the Reuters news agency. The meetings are likely to cover a range of issues, including the Israel-Hamas conflict, the Ukraine war, and the escalating tension in the South China Sea. Senior administration officials who spoke on condition of anonymity told the Associated Press news agency. French President Emmanuel Macron said on a solidarity visit to Israel Tuesday that saving hostages held by Hamas in Gaza must be the first objective of the military campaign, but stressed the need to stop the conflict spreading. Macron's visit added to the chorus of Western support for Israel's riposte to the Palestinian militant group after the deadly October 7 attacks, but he was to call for a humanitarian truce, his office said, amid international concern over the civilian toll in Gaza. The first objective we should have today is the release of all hostages, without any distinction, because this is an awful crime to play with these lives of children, adults, old people, civilians, and soldiers, Macron said after meeting Israeli President Isaac Herzog in Jerusalem. 30 French people were killed in the Hamas attacks, which Israel said left 1,400 dead. Macron said 9 French people are missing At least one has been confirmed to be among more than 220 people taken hostage by Hamas gunmen. The Kremlin on Tuesday denied a report that President Vladimir Putin was ill and laughed off persistent rumors that he used body doubles to cover for him in public appearances. Everything is fine with him. This is absolutely another fake, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said when asked about an unsourced report by a Russian Telegram channel picked up by some Western media that the president had suffered a serious health episode on Sunday evening. The spokesman laughed in response to a further question about body doubles and denied that Putin had any. Now it's time for business news. Today's New York stock close price is 15,025.76. The NYSE Composite is increased by 79.75 points or 0.53%. Tokyo stock close price is 31,062.35. The Nikkei 225 index is increased by 62.80 points or 0.20%. Shanghai stock close price is 2,962.24. The Shanghai index is increased by 22.95 points or 0.78%. Hong Kong stock close price is 16,991.53. The Hang Seng index is decreased by 180.60 points or 1.05%. Bombay stock close price is 64,571.88. The Sensex index is decreased by 825.74 points or 1.26%. Let's have a look on today's sports story. Bangladesh batter Mahmudullah Riyad scored a third World Cup century, the most by a Bangladesh batter. But it had little effect as the Tigers succumbed to a 149-run loss against South Africa in their World Cup encounter at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai today. Riyad managed a run ball 111, notching up his fourth ODI turn, but his knock could only help Bangladesh reduce the margin of defeat as the Tigers were bundled out for 233 in pursuit of South Africa's daunting 382 for 5. Proteas pacer Gerald Coetzee picked up 3 wickets, while pacer partners Kagiso Rabada, Marco Jansen and Lizette Williams sculpted 2 each. Earlier, South Africa piled on the runs after opting to bat first as they posted 382 for 5. Courtesy of Quinton de Kock's 140 ball 174 and Henrik Klassen's 49 ball 90. Let's have a look on today's weather forecast. Before finishing today's news, let's hear out the headlines again. Michael Cohen testifies against the former President Donald Trump. Ex-Trump lawyer Jenna Ellis pleads guilty in Georgia election interference case. Eight kids abducted from Arkansas found safe in California parking lot, mom arrested. US pilot accused of trying to turn off plane's engines mid-flight. Obama warns some of Israel's actions in Gaza may backfire. Iran actively facilitating attacks on US bases. Freed Israeli says beaten by abductors, then well treated in Gaza. Russian strikes kill 6 civilians in Syria. Armed attacks in Mexico leave 24 dead. China's Wang Yi to pay rare visit to US as two countries try to repair ties. France's Macron says releasing hostages the first objective of Gaza campaign. Putin laughs off body double rumors. And Riyadh turn in vain as Bangladesh lose by 149 runs against Proteas. That's all for today. Keep watching Millennium News Hour for latest news update. To stay updated, like our Facebook page, subscribe our YouTube channel and visit our website. Our website address is www.millenniumnews24.com. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV. And also in all European countries and Australia, available with the Sky Network, Worldwide Jadoo TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jacobiti Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with us for all the latest news worldwide. Thank you.